Hey guys, it is Mike with Become the Night. Welcome back to another Song Suggestion Friday. I am joined by nobody today because who gives a shit? No, I'm joined by nobody today because I just needed to get a whole bunch of shit done. I didn't have time to get everyone together. I'm actually leaving. This is a Wednesday I'm recording this. I'm leaving tomorrow to go back home, to go back and see my fam. Who knows, maybe a video with my fam? Maybe. Anyways, back to Song Suggestion Friday. As always, I take songs from your suggestions in the comments section. If you want to leave suggestions in the comments section, leave your suggestions in the absolute latest Song Suggestion Friday, or it won't be picked. I take a pool of those suggestions, I throw them into a poll on Patreon for my patrons to vote on. If you would like to be one of those patrons, please go to my Patreon page, pledge $5 or more a month, and you can take part in that Patreon poll. Based upon your guys' poll, I take some songs, I listen to them, and I give you my feedback. I grade it on a scale of plus, minus, and equal sign. Plus sign means I liked it and I would actively seek it out again. Equal sign means that I wouldn't actively seek it out or actively avoid it. Could have liked it, could have hated it, could have whatever, who cares. Minus sign means that I will actively avoid this song in the future. Let's get started. Dazed and Confused by Led Zeppelin. This song is a staple in classic rock. It was a lot more adventurous than many of its predecessors or contemporaries. And shit, if you look at a lot of modern rock and pop and even country, it's a fuck ton more adventurous than that. That riff right before the main lick on the guitar, which I kind of consider the chorus, the da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, that's definitely a predecessor riff to metal, without a doubt. This is not one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs. I'm not really into the whole psychedelic thing. Not that it's a bad song, just not one of my favorites. For being very limited technologically, they did an excellent job of creating a very luscious soundscape. Total grade for this song, plus sign. Hammer Smashed Face by Cannibal Corpse. I absolutely hate this mix. This mix is terrible. It has no depth to it whatsoever. On top of the fact that it's really mid-rangey and really thin, and the only low points that are there are kind of fuzzy, it's just, it's way too dry of a mix. There's no room whatsoever. It's just dead. I'm really not a fan of the vocals. Even as far as growl screams go, this is sucky. Really not a fan of blast beats either, guys, but you should know this by now. I get that this was 1992, so it was technically ahead of its time, but I'm really not feeling this one at all. There are some really cool guitar riffs in here, and they're just kind of thrown around haphazardly and not really developed well. It's kind of a shame, actually. Total grade for this song, minus sign. Duality by Slipknot. Ah, the classic Slipknot song. The drum mix definitely makes up for the guitar mix. Not that the guitar mix was terrible, it was just too fuzzy for the kind of metal that I expect out of this kind of songwriting, and especially the way that those drums were mixed. That bass sounds excellent though, I will say that. Nice and full and round. And those drums are super thumpy, man. I mean, whoever mixed those drums did an excellent freaking job. The drums are super satisfying. The chorus is good, the rest of the song for me is kind of meh. A whole lot of dun for the sake of doing it, and not a whole lot of trying to tell me something, if that makes any sense. As I've said before, I'm not really a fan of Slipknot, but I can definitely say there are far better songs in their catalog than Duality. This was kind of like their pop hit, if you will. Total grade for this song, equal sign. Stricken by Disturbed. Guitar Hero 3 absolutely made this a favorite of mine, and I think that's slightly cheating, but it is what it is. Has an excellent melody in the verse and the chorus. I love the guy's vocals. I don't know the singer's name, but his vocals are really good, completely distinct. You know it's him when you hear him. When it bounces between 1 and 6 in the chorus, man, that is totally my weak spot. The minor 1 chord going to the major 6 chord, just like, oh yes, please give me more. And this is the first Disturbed song I listened to that had a guitar solo in it. First of all, lost my shit the first time I heard that, because that was something I thought Disturbed was missing from the first time I heard them. I was like, this is really good, solid metal. Where's the freaking guitar solo? And then they finally brought it back, and it was a really good solo. It is not very shreddy, but it is extremely tasty. It's lots of feel, very appropriate for what it should be. Total grade for this song, 2 plus signs. Knights of Cydonia by Muse. This is another one that I discovered on Guitar Hero 3. I'd actually heard of Muse before playing this, but this is the first song of theirs I listened to. Of course, this song is awesome, just like Muse. Has a kind of spaghetti western vibe in the intro, and then into this spacey alt-rock thing with a little twinge of prog. And then it goes to this epic keyboard part. It goes do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and then it's backed up by, I should say, it is backing up these badass vocal harmonies, and then gets a pedal tone going on the guitar that is kind of solidify it. Instead of being so bouncy and flighty, it just gets locked into this kind of rock hard place, and then blows out into this hard rock badass guitar riff that's really simple, really rock and roll, but really cool. Long story short, Muse has masterful songwriting, and I would consider this song a masterpiece. I love listening to their choices for guitar effects and keyboard samples, and how they attempt to build the soundscape and make it unique. They don't just stick to one thing, and everything they choose is somehow really oddly appropriate for what they're doing. Total grade for this song, 3+. The Moor by Opeth. Starts off with this weird, jazzy, dementia type of intro, and then into this beautiful classical guitar part. Absolutely gorgeous. Between the songwriting and the sound palette, you can always tell that it's Opeth. And I am always happy when I hear Michael Ackerfeld sing. Holy cow. I mean, his deep growl is good for what it is. It's one of the few that I can actually enjoy listening to, but when he sings, his voice is like so rock folk and pure, but simple. And then when he does his harmonies are so on point, man. Just so good. I really don't know what else to say because it's a frickin' Opeth song, man. If you don't know what Opeth sounds like, go listen to him, please. Go check out The Moor. It's a great song. You always know you're in for an epic adventure with an Opeth track. Total grade for this song, +. A Boy Named Sue by Johnny Cash. This is another classic Cash song. As it sounds like it is in the title, it's about a boy named Sue. I absolutely love this song. It is simple musically, but the song is not about the music, it is about the lyrics. More specifically, the story. Now, usually I would give songs like this shit, but the story is so good that it's like, you can't. It's such a great story and told excellently. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, so go listen to yourself if you haven't already. Total grade for this song, 2+. I'm gonna throw a bonus one in here because there's a guy who is now a subscriber of mine who I gave a ton of shit to in the comments section that I totally should not have. It was an absolutely dick move on my part, and he's put this suggestion in for the last couple weeks. I want to do this for him. Dude, again, I'm sorry I was a dick. I should have never done that. My deepest apologies. Omnipresent Perception by Beyond Creation. Oh, wow, what an intro. Holy cow. Like, you have those really extreme metal songs that are like right in the intro, just a lot, but like this was a lot, but really easy to hear everything that was happening, and it was like overwhelming. It was really cool. I actually liked it. It is typically not my thing, but the bounce between 1 and 6, man. They do that bounce between minor 1 and major 6 in that chorus, and it's just frickin', it's like crack. It's so good. The production on this is excellent. A lot of times for bands like this, you get really like half-ass production at best, and the drums and guitars are mixed awesome. Well, let me preface that is not my preferable drum mix that I would do, but for the style of music they're doing, it is extremely appropriate and well executed. Those guitars were perfect. That is a perfect guitar tone. I mean, it's not something, again, not something I would personally choose for something I would play, because I don't play that style, but man, like, it is spot on. Just enough crunch, but just enough boom, like really well balanced. Well done. And the two of those together blend beautifully, those drums and those guitars. The guitars are pretty much scoops. There's a lot of boom at the low end, and then a lot of tack at the high end, and then the guitars fill in a lot of that space in between. And for some reason, that bass is mixed with a super high mid-range, like boosted up. I couldn't get any low end off the bass. unless that's not a bass, but I'm like 99% sure that's a bass. It's like so high mid-range, it sounds like a 1970s synth, which it might actually be, who knows. There are some cool guitar parts. Blast beats really aren't my thing, man, and there's a large number of blast beats in this song. First guitar solo for me was kind of like meh, like I could tell the guy was talented, just the writing on it didn't mesh. It was too deliberate, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm trying to write, this is the guitar solo part, you know? The bass solo almost had me on the floor because it has that 1970s synth sound, and it just sounds so like, what is this? Why is this in a metal song? Now, I can understand why they would want a boost in the high mids to let the bass peek through more so it's more audible, because the stuff that the guy was doing on that bass was actually really cool parts, and you wanted to get all the technicality out of them. I totally get that. But at the same time, might have been a little much. Second guitar solo, however, was badass as hell. Excellently written, even more shreddy than the first one, and just really, really good feel. Total grade for this song, equal sign. Hey, so I was editing this video and realized that I completely forgot to do Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. To steal a little from Dave Grohl, this was very much ahead of its time and more sophisticated chordally and melodically than anything else that grunge was doing at the time. Grohl made a great comparison of this song by saying it was like the Beatles and Black Sabbath had a marriage. It was just really, really two things from two different sides of the rock and roll spectrum that you would have never expected to go together, and went together beautifully. I highly recommend going and listening to the acoustic version of this, where it's just Chris on his guitar and him singing along with it. Beautiful. Some of you may know I am not a fan of grunge, but this is absolutely a grunge masterpiece. Again, rest in peace, Chris. I miss you, man. Total grade for this song, plus sign. And now it is time for my suggestions. I don't remember if I suggested this already or not, but if I have, whatever. Not enough people have listened to it yet. My first suggestion this week is On the Backs of Angels by Dream Theater. If any of you are familiar with their hit song, Pull Me Under, this is basically a rehash of Pull Me Under, except a billion times better than Pull Me Under. If Pull Me Under is Superman and On the Backs of Angels is Bizarro Superman, this is Bizarro Superman walking up to Superman, ripping off his head and shitting down his neck. It's that good. My next suggestion is Bleak by Opeth. I don't know if it is anymore, but this was by far my favorite Opeth song. I've since then broadened my listening of their catalog, so I don't know if it still holds that spot yet or not. This was the first song of theirs I listened to where the light switched on in my head, and I was like, wow, this is a lot more than just metal. There's a lot more to this world I need to see. Absolutely awesome song, classic Opeth, had an enormous impact on me musically. And my last suggestion this week is actually one that one of you guys suggested to me early on, Faith and Decision by Versailles. This song is fucking badass. I might have had this on repeat for like the last 2 days, and if I'm not listening to it, I'm humming it. It's an awesome song. I think this is technically called Visual Kei or Kai or something. I'm not sure what that's all about, but in my American stupid terms, this is Japanese epic power metal with like an operatic touch. The guitar parts in that song, so fucking tasty. Oh ho ho ho, dude. No. Dude, you have got to listen to it if you're a guitar player, especially if you're a guitar player that's in the metal. So good. That is it for Song Suggestion Friday. If you guys would like to make some suggestions, leave them in the comments below. I'm sure you've already spammed the hell out of this thing and not even listened to the video yet. If you would like to vote on the suggestions that I pull from the comments section, run on over to the Patreon. The link is in the description. Pledge $5 or more a month, and you can take part in those polls. If you'd like to see when I regularly upload my videos, you can follow me on Twitter at BecomeTheKnight. If you want, you can also check out my Facebook page. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Rock on!